Welcome. This is my first theater session, so I'm so not used to background noise. So you guys are my guinea pigs. Hope you've been enjoying the event. I'm doing a PowerApps session, a little theater session here on streamlining business processes using SharePoint with PowerApps custom views and flow. I'm going to show you a use case scenario, a solution I built for a customer. My name is Christina Wheeler. I'm a solution architect. I cross the entire stack. I do a lot of integration with Dynamics and CRM. I'm nowhere near an expert in those two as far as the products, but I do a lot of integration with it. And the solution I'm going to show you is something that has integrating. I'll show you basically what the scenario was and what I built. I also do training with Critical Path Training, and like I said, a solution architect. So I am an independent consultant, so I'm always for hire. All right. Many of you here pretty much know what PowerApps are, so I don't need to talk about that. And I got involved in PowerApps from a standalone standpoint, from a beta standpoint, and then I started getting involved. My background is I've worked with SharePoint for a very long time. So I've done InfoPath, I've done development, and I started getting into the standalone PowerApps. And I will tell you, it was very painful in the beginning, not going to lie, because, all new products are. But you have the ability now, instead of using InfoPath, you have the ability to use PowerApps as your custom view. And so you have an option, it's in the modern list views. So if you have a classic list or a classic view, you can still build a Power App against it. You just can't build it as a custom view. So when you're in the modern list, you would have the option to click on the Power Apps dropdown, and from there you can create an app, which would be a standalone app, or you can click to customize forms to create that custom form. Now before, in the older versions of SharePoint, when you wanted to customize that view, you did it as an InfoPath form. And then you can also use on-prem, but you can't do it with custom views. It would be a standalone app. Okay, so I started working with it. Now I'm going to tell you the pain points as well. The project that I did, if you're doing simple forms within a Power App custom view, it works out really well. If you're doing something more complex, I recommend doing a standalone app. And the reason I recommend that is because you're going to run into some quirky things with the custom view. Which is what I ran into. But here's just a very simple form here, just for, this is in Power Apps Studio, creating it, and then here's one for Ocean Resort Casino. They had incident reports, and so in this case, I built both a standalone Power App and then one as a custom view. So both were writing to the SharePoint list. So in this case, if someone was injured, they'd go in and fill out this information, and then a flow would kick off and go to the appropriate person that it needed to go to. Now, when you're creating a Power App custom view, you don't have the app options up here because it's not a standalone app. But what you do have the ability to do is change the resolution size or the actual canvas size for that. So when it pops up in when you go to create a new SharePoint item, it pops up on the side panel. So you can decide what size you want that to be. And then the way you had it before, you didn't have this option before. Originally, you had SharePoint Form and InfoPath. And now that Microsoft has added the capability to do a Power App custom view, now you have this other option here to customize the form. So when you go in and create that custom view in Power App, it automatically sets that when you publish it. But then I've had it where I started developing and we had issues with the Power App, so you might decide to go turn it off temporarily. Or if you turn it off you have different options here. But that's the setting. Now I'm going to talk about the use case. So Altera Mountain Company, they're based in Colorado. They own pretty much most of the ski resorts in the United States. They are a Dynamics Financials customer. They also use Office 365. Well, what they had was a vendor request form that was an actual paper form. And so what would happen is somebody would they would email this, fill it out, and email it back to Altera. So anytime you had a new resort or new vendor, they would have to send it directly to Altera Mountain Company. Well, this is very, very manual, very tedious. So the requirements was to digitize this and automate this business process. So what they wanted me to use PowerApps for it. Now, this project has been a very learning curve project, meaning that this is where I discovered pain points with PowerApps custom views, but also discovered things that work really well. Okay, so the requirement was to digitize the form, automate the process. Now their data is in Dynamics Financials, and if the requirement is to have a form where they would go and either create a new vendor or update an existing vendor. If they needed to update an existing vendor, I needed to pull that existing vendor information. So to pull that, it's easier if you're dumping the Dynamics data into Azure SQL or a SQL environment. It was easier for me to do that, one, for performance reasons because they had a lot of data. So we dumped a lot of the data we needed into Azure SQL, and then I used that to pull into the Power App. So I'm capturing the data. So I'm pulling existing vendor data. I'm capturing it in SharePoint Online. I create a Power App custom view, and then I end up having an approval process. So when it gets submitted, that if it gets approved, it writes back either the new vendor to Dynamics or updates the existing one. So I took this form they had, and I made it into a SharePoint list first. So I created all the columns that I needed. So they're using very basic, nothing insane here, no, very out of the box except for the branding stuff here. So I created a list called vendor request form, and I'm only using this for the data input, and they're still in testing on this. But if you go to PowerApps here, if I click on Customize Forms, well, before I do that, let me go to the list settings. I think I'm tethered to my phone. No, I'm not. Okay, so I'm going to the list settings. So I basically, now, when I created my columns, when I created the columns, I basically scripted it out in PowerShell. I'm a dev, I'm comfortable with PowerShell, and I made sure that I had clean names, clean display, or clean internal field names, and then I have my display names. So I took what I had in the form here and figured out what I needed to have as a column. Well, they're created by, I'm already capturing in SharePoint, and then I was going to pull the user's information for the phone number, but there was other information I need to fill out here. So I created the SharePoint list to capture that data. But I did not want to have it as a regular form, as a regular SharePoint form, because I needed to pull in other data and have some logic behind the form. So what I ended up doing was creating a Power App custom view. Go to PowerApps, Customize Forms. Oh, let me launch, zoom it real quick. Okay, so going back to here. So you have two options here, and if I did create an app, that would have been a standalone app, and then, come on, there we go. Customize Forms is the one I wanted to click on if I want to create a Power App custom view. So I click on Customize Forms, and I've already created this form and published it, so it's going to open up the existing form. Getting things ready, come on. So when I started this in the very beginning, it created a phone view instead of a landscape view or a wider view. And immediately when I went in and started creating it, I went to the settings. Let me see if I can hotspot on my phone. I can't. I thought I was connected to my phone and I wasn't. Okay, good, it pulled up. Okay. This is a challenge, right? This is the challenge of presenting cloud when your internet has issues. Okay, app settings. So if I go to app settings, originally it was portrait large, and I changed it to landscape large. And you want to do this from the very beginning, because if you start working with it and then you decide to change your screen orientation and size, it's going to mess up your controls. And a lot of the time you're going to spend in your Power App is really formatting the controls. And that's where it's a little painful and tedious, not going to lie. But that's what I went through with this project. So in here, I've got different screens. So I have a resort dropdown. I've also, let's go to my data connections here, view data sources. So I have multiple data sources here, and I told you I'm pulling Dynamics data, but I had the data pushed into Azure SQL, so it was easier for me to query that data and also handle performance. I've got my SQL connections here, and what I actually did was create some views, because there's a couple things I wanted. One was populate the resorts that they have. And I didn't want that to actually come out of the SharePoint list. Now I have a column for that it writes back to in SharePoint, but I still want to update that. Then I also have my vendor request form here. That's the connection to my actual SharePoint list. And then I have an AP approvers list here. This is, I wanted a screen that only shows up for approvers, and I just realized I didn't add the resource, but Laura Rogers has a YouTube video on how she did it, because there's no built-in security where you can hide controls based on a user right now. So I found a solution she did and implemented that solution. So I will add that to my slides and republish it. So that's why I have that there. And then up here is my flow, what I'll get into next. But here I've got my screen, and then they can decide to create a new vendor or update existing. Well, you'll see I have some test data already populated there. But if I were to create a new vendor, you're going to see that it changes here. The vendor number changes to auto-generated. So I changed I added specific logic or formulas to my controls, so that if they clicked on create a new vendor, it changed the vendor number to auto-generated. Then if they click on update an existing vendor, did I almost say Avengers? Update existing vendor. Awesome. Then you'll see, if I click on create new, there's no search box, and the request type is set to new. If I click on update, now I have a search icon. That search icon is actually going to go to another screen. Now the screen is blank right now, and I'm just running. You can hold the Alt key down in a PowerApp to test your PowerApp without having to hit preview. But let me go back. So this is a gallery control, but what it wants is, now there's nothing populating there. There was another thing I populated here, which is collections. And this was all loaded before I demoed, and now I realize it's not loaded. But I have collections where it's pulling my data source and it loads it to the collection. So that way I don't have performance issues either. But let me go into the list itself. Come on. Really want to tether on my phone. Okay, so if I click on new, it's going to open up the PowerApp. It's a little large. But I also did the size based upon what the majority of their users are using, and primarily are using it on their screens. Oh, this is broken. See, this was all working before. This is where I told you have issues, okay? Yeah, right? So, but this is supposed to populate the drop down here. Let's go to update. My resort is not loading. They have been I'm showing you a live demo, by the way, and they have been in UAT testing and making changes. But if you go in and fill in the information, and if I do country, that's not populating either. Awesome. Let's go back. Okay. But I had rules that it would update. Now, how much time do I have? All right. So I also set up a flow. So that way when they submit the new requests, so let's go back to here. So you'll see there's a bunch of requests that have been created. So what happens is the user goes in, they fill in the information, they hit submit, and then a flow kicks off. So in my PowerApp, I do have a flow button. I shouldn't have closed it, come on. So now it's in view mode. If I click edit all, it's going to detect that I am an actual approver, and because I'm an approver, it's going to go to an approver screen, which is another screen that I created in the PowerApp. And so in the PowerApp, I also have a button which would show up in my data connection where I have a flow. Now I created a copy of the actual real one because I didn't want to mess up or mess with the production one. But I have a flow here, and you'll see there's different data connections. First, it's going to trigger off of the Power App button. Then it's connected to my SharePoint list. So anytime a new item is added, it's going to, or it's got to pull that new item. And then it's going to send out an email, and it'll write back to Dynamics. So I'll go ahead and click Edit. This is a beast of a flow, I'm not going to lie. Now this is, this is integrating into Dynamics, but you can integrate to any other data source. And so it's triggered off the Power App. Then from there, I'm getting my list item. Now originally, I had a flow that was kicked off whenever a new item was added. But then we started having some issues, and then the customer also decided they just wanted to have, they didn't want an alert on every single request. They wanted to basically go at the end of the day and see, all of them, or have like a summary email. So I ended up changing it to have a button that triggered it in the flow itself instead of off the actual SharePoint list. So then I've got to get the new item, or get the item that they're triggering off of. I do have to initialize a bunch of variables. A lot of reasons for that is Dynamics looks for specific formats, and I also need to handle nulls and things like that. So a lot of these variables here are more because of the requirements pushing back into Dynamics. Okay. Then I've got an approval decision, and if I go down, if it's approved, then it's gonna, I ran into other issues with dates, so I ended up having to convert some dates. And so like I said, this project had some pain points, but it also was good because I was getting to see what are the requirements in writing back to Dynamics Financials. Then if it's approved, it's going to go here and do a check. Okay, is it a new request? Or if it's a new request, it's going to create a new vendor. If it's updating an existing vendor, then it's going to use a different data connection here, updating existing vendor. And so, of course, this is, like I said, going into Dynamics, but you can have it go to any other data source that you want. But it was the whole thing of automating this process instead of having it manual. And I wanted it to write back to Dynamics. They wanted it to write back to Dynamics because they would have someone get that paper form and have to manually input the information. So I completely streamlined that process for them. I did run into another issue when there were some updates that came out for Flow. All of a sudden, the connector for the update didn't work. So you could run into issues like that. But if you're using another data source, you might be fine. Like I said, it's that's the life of building solutions like this. And then the create new vendor. So I create a new vendor, and what I'm doing here is I'm passing in my different fields here. So some of them are the SharePoint fields, and then tax ID type, I'm actually passing in a variable. So this is where I spent a lot of time having to figure out, because there wasn't a lot documented as far as, there isn't a lot documented from pushing data into Dynamics Financials. Now you can also push into CRM and other Dynamics products, and of course SQL and so on. So this was more of a pain point for me here, because I had to figure out what was failing and why it was failing, and then figure out the formula to make it work. Okay. Now the other thing I did too is, because I was pushing a lot of stuff to Dynamics, and because some of these fields that I'm using, I've overrode the control. I've got 2 minutes. Come on. So if I go here on my data, let's go to. Nope. Yeah, I'm having issues with my internet. I thought I was connected, but I've changed it. So for some of this, I didn't worry about having a choice field in SharePoint. I just had a single line of text because I was overriding this control to pull the Dynamics data. And then I just wanted that value to write back to SharePoint. So what it is you just kind of figure out, I did go through, and this is where it was a learning curve for me too, of figuring out, okay, I created my field this way. I actually could change this. But this works out really well. Now, I did run into some problems that what happens with PowerApps is it stays open for performance reasons. So even if I hit submit and the app closes, I was running into issues where the form was not resetting. And I hate to say it, but I'm going to. ended up rebuilding the Power App. We were having issues, so I rebuilt the Power App as a standalone Power App, and then all my issues went away. So I've discovered off of this project, now I rebuilt this in 17 hours. The bottom only shows up if you're an approver, and let's see, here it's going to work. So I'll pull down a resort, update existing vendor. I have 1 more minute. Vendor group. Oh, they made, click on the search box here. When I click on the search box, this is what's pulling out of Azure SQL. So this is pulling out of Azure SQL, and depending upon which resort they choose and what type it is, determines what the query is going to pull here. So I have different logic here that pulls up, and then they can click on the arrow, and it's going to populate the information. All right. So that was a solution I built. I can't run the flow. I am out of time. First solution took me, let's say I worked on it for a couple months because they kept changing requirements. I kept running into little little issues. I did run into another problem where all of a sudden my Power Up, the new item wasn't saving. And what I ended up doing is I rebuilt it, and then it worked. So I've discovered, yeah, but I've also had that type of issues with SharePoint Designer workflows in the past. I've had that issues with InfoPath Designer in the past. So I don't know. I think it's something with the PowerApp custom views, because when I do it as a standalone app, I didn't run into those problems. But if I do it as a custom view, I do. So my recommendation is do more simplistic things with custom views. But if you're doing something more complex, do it as a standalone app. But either way, you can still build a whole process behind that. Any other questions? Thank you for attending. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference.